let's focus on digital business, because digital business is the mega trend today. It not only occupies every IT department meeting, it also drives the agenda of many business meetings today. And we in sourcing, for us, it's now the right time to take a deeper look of what's going to happen. Sourcing is incredibly important in the digital era. And in my presentation today, I want to show you why that is and how it materializes in your businesses. But let me start with an example that explains what we mean when we speak about digital business. And my example is from the industry of farming, or more precise, smart farming. It's an interesting industry because almost all new technologies can be found in pilot projects in farming: drones, robots, smart machines. Now, farmers in Europe, they have a significant challenge. Their challenge is that they just cannot spray their pesticides onto the ground. They have to stay away, distinct distance from neighbors, from rivers, and from lakes. So BASF and John Deere, they formed a partnership in 2013 to help farmers with this challenge. So they developed with other partners what they call a pesticides application manager, a digital internet-based support decision system which provides machine-readable data on products and on legal buffer zones so that these machines can go very close to the border. They can spray much more accurately, they stay compliant, and they enrich productivity. Highest productivity possible, that's the goal of that. Very successful. At the end, there were 6 companies collaborating in this new digital value chain with each other. And last year, on the DLG conference, Deutsche Landwirtschaftsgesellschaft, in 2015, they won the gold medal for that project. Quite interesting and quite imposing. So if we look to these examples, you find those examples from many, many, many industries. Almost all industry, you have some digital examples you can show on conferences like this. And it's all about digitalization of value chains that go beyond your own corporation. And we in Europe, we have some challenges with that. The collaboration beyond our own corporation is nothing which is naturally in our DNA today. But it all starts with digital technologies. But digital business is much more than just technology. It is defined as the creation of new business designs by blurring the digital and physical worlds. Digital business is in an unprecedented convergence of people, businesses, and things to create new services, to create new products, to create new solutions. Now, this is impacting everyone, every industry, every business, and every function within the company. So the sourcing function is impacted as well. Let's have a look in what ways. Many digital business examples start with technology, with digital technologies. But we in Gartner, we work with a lot of companies around the globe in their digital projects. And what we found out that digital technology is important because you can do such wonderful things with it, but it is only an enabler of digital business because companies collaborate with each other. They have to collaborate with each other to be fast, to be faster than the competition. So the next pillar is the partnerships. And partnership is not the ultimate solution. Partnerships are there to accelerate digital business. BASF, John Deere, and the other partners, they could have opened their pockets, spent some money, and invest in skills, in technology, and build everything on their own. Instead, they chose the more agile approach. They teamed up, they formed a partnership, and they did this together to accelerate their innovation path. Now, these are 6 partners in the solution. We have examples with many, many more partners. It's a zoo of partners. And we in sourcing, I guess it's fair to say that we know that partnerships can also go deadly wrong. So it's not always guaranteed that many partnerships bring out a wonderful and brilliant solution. So we in sourcing, we need to become a conductor of this orchestra. We need to become a conductor of this zoo. So the good news is this raises the importance of the sourcing functions. The bad news is we need to stop doing the way we do sourcing today. So let's look into each area in more detail. The foundational technologies of digital is the SMAC stack, the so-called SMAC stack: social, mobile, analytics, and the cloud. And we in Gartner, we swapped the A behind me with an I. For us, it's a SMIC stack, because we believe in the power of information. We believe that the information will be the fundamental foundation in digital business. We discuss even with companies that information is the currency they pay within the digital business ecosystem beyond the money. So information is key important. But at the end, it's the same technology areas. If you look into social, we have come a long way. By the way, the nexus of forces term you see there was formed by Gartner in 2012 to group these technologies, just as an aside. But we have come a long way. Almost 75% of all the organizations in the world use these technologies. Use social, mobile, analytics, and the cloud, and most of you probably have many examples in your own companies. So the adoption rate is 44% for social technologies. These technologies that connects you, your end users, and your business with digital value chains in the market. Look on your phone. How many entry points to digital value chains do you maintain on your phone? 10, 50, 100. You don't use all of them, because not all of them deliver value to you. But these are entry points to digital value chains, and this is what I mean. The lighter shaded area, these 29%, this is the number of companies which have pilot projects underway. So if you put those together, we will soon have a very high adoption rate. Going to mobility. This number is puzzling people usually because it looks low. Everybody has mobile phones. Everybody has mobile services in the company. But the discussion around mobile is currently driven by the Internet of Things. And the question is, how do you connect to drones? How do you connect to sensors and to machines and to robots? This is the big driving discussion. So the adoption rate is 44% of companies, they have a productive mobility environment which can interconnect these devices today. And the other 25% have pilot projects ongoing. Now the cloud. The cloud with the highest adoption rate, slightly higher, not massively higher, but the cloud discussion is interesting. As we speak now, many companies launch what they call cloud-first strategy. So whenever there is a question, whenever there is something they need to fulfill, they go into the cloud first because they build something, before they build something for themselves. And finally, the information piece. From an adoption rate, not the highest number, more the smallest number, but the next big thing in digital is coming from what we call in Gartner algorithmic business, the miniaturization of software. Cutting software into algorithms and then sell these algorithms which can revalue information in a certain way and sell these pieces back to the market. We see these information marketplaces coming up. Now, this is all interconnecting. This is all coming together. So the big question is about security. This is a prediction from Gartner. The good thing working in Gartner is that we can predict a lot of things and you need to make it happen. But the point here is that this prediction says that cybersecurity needs to be a key design principle and will be a key design principle for all digital business initiatives. The scary news is that more than half of the organization will not implement it. It's too costly. It's too complex. And when things are complex, they slow you down. And if there is one common pattern for successful digital businesses, it's speed. It's the ability to act fast. So companies are not looking with the same diligence into the security space, and they should. All right. Looking into the partnership. Partnerships, as I said, are accelerators. We ask many CIOs, do you have the right skills in your organization to manage a digital business and to provide these solutions to your business stakeholders? 54% say, no, we don't have the right skills. We are organizationally not structured in a way that we can deliver this value to our business units. So what they do is they look outside, and all these traditional outsourcers, which are there, say, that's great, everybody's coming to us buying our services. Here's another news. 70% of the CIOs tell us that they change their sourcing mix, that they are not going to the usual suspects, that they open their books and they look into more innovative partnerships, universities, research organizations, startup companies, or even potential acquisition targets which have the possibility to accelerate the innovation path in your business. So this increases the pace in changing partnerships. This increases the type of partnerships. You know, we see much, much more diversity in the partnerships coming up. So sourcing becomes a more strategic function. Sourcing has to conduct this business because organizations need strong conductors. So that means sourcing organization needs to focus much more than ever on finding the value elements of a solution, the value elements of a company. Very important element to fulfill. Then you need new routes of engagements between the partners. How are decisions driven in this ecosystem of 6 partners? Who decides what? You know, this is, if you want to accelerate, you need to find out who decides what and who has which interest. So defining the routes of engagement is a key sourcing activity here. The next element is to sign mutual win agreements. If you work with 6 partners, you can't leave one behind because then your system breaks. And how can you make sure that in an ongoing way, BASF, John Deere, and the 4 other partners have an interest and maintain the interest in these solutions? So you need to avoid getting turmoil. Then every company gives some innovation, gives some intellectual properties. Who manages the intellectual property and who can convert this into revenue streams and then define these revenue streams into an agreement? It's the sourcing departments which have to do it. We know how relationships work. We know how to contract and to write contracts which manage multiple interests in different organizations. And finally, we need to coordinate these multi-point partnerships. In the past, there was one company managing multiple vendors. An ecosystem we know since many, many years. In the future, we will have multiple partners managing multiple partners, multiple companies behind one digital value chain. So we have to fundamentally shift our minds. Since 100 years, we source with an outside-in mindset. So we were looking outside for products, for services, for solutions to supply them inside the organization to businesses and functions to help them out. And we did that with the mantra of the highest value and the best price. So this is how sourcing always worked. But with digital business, we need not only to purchase stuff outside, we also need to determine internal value that we can contribute in an outside value chain. So we need to shift from an outside-in view to an inside-out view. And I want to explain this with an example. Amazon sells products, and DHL provides delivery services to Amazon as one of their partners. And in the traditional outside-in world, there is a one-to-one relationship between these companies, maybe a long-term-based contract, service-based contract, so that everybody gets his value out. Now, in the digital age, consumers, we not only expect faster delivery, we also expect more convenient delivery locations. And here comes the inside-out mindset. In 2015, Audi, Amazon Prime, and DHL announced a partnership to jointly develop a solution that aims to have Amazon Prime customers deliver their ordered products by DHL directly into the boot of the customer's Audi. So now, you have 3 companies in the mix, 3 value chains, 3 business interests. You need to bring them all together. Who delivers what? Who owns which IP? Who brings in which innovation? And how do you bake this all into one agreement across these 3 companies? Sourcing, again, is in the middle of it. So we need to transform our thinking from an outside-in to an inside-out view. And I think this is quite critical to understand. We need to see ourselves and our companies as part of a wider digital ecosystem. We need to start providing value in an open and collaborative digital world. We need to change our approaches from being a tactical function, a tactical discipline, to a strategic value function to make digital business a success. Let me slowly close down my presentation with 5 recommendations on how you can deliver this mindset shift into your companies. So, first of all, be swift, be agile, very fast. Speed matters more than ever. It's a flosk we use since many, many years, but even the acceleration accelerates. And speed matters. So look into your sourcing processes and the way you do and perform sourcing today, and see if you can make your processes more lean. You can automate process parts. You know, like a real orchestra conductor, what they do is they send video play with apps to all the people in the orchestra so that they can simulate at home a real play scenario. And if they practice in the real play scenario, they are much better prepared when everybody from the orchestra comes together and plays. So be agile. The next element is be proactive. Anticipate your business needs. You know, all too often sourcing is a reactive function. All too often sourcing goes out and only acts once a business gives them a project. But sourcing needs to be proactive. Anticipate what the business needs. Have a solution ready even before the business asks for that solution. Onboard new creative, innovative partners in addition to your strategic partners. Onboard them before they are needed, because if there is a business project, you need to be very fast. You need to switch on the delivery of these providers very fast. This you cannot do overnight. How do you find all these partners? Do you have a scouting function in your sourcing organization which does nothing else in driving between Berlin, Amsterdam, and wherever there are the startup hubs in Europe? It's very tricky. How do you establish, let's say, a fruitful partnership with the university? How do you assign your M&A budget to the right partners? Because these partners are small, and you might want to have many of them. Understand the digital business environment. Understand the digital business market. What are the new sourcing options out there? We discussed crowdsourcing since a long time. But how do you enable crowdsourcing in your organization? Is it really helpful? Can you use the crowd to do some innovation? I was working with a furniture manufacturer. You know, in the cafeteria, they had iPads or Microsoft Surface, whatever, and a tablet thing on each table. And they displayed the new products, a table, a simple table. And people were eating lunch, and then, oh, this table would be nice with 5 legs. Oh, I hate these brown wood, so let's make it green. So they were drawing and drawing and drawing. So the internal design department, they crowdsourced this innovation within the company. And then they realized, oh my God, we have so many guests in our company. This is even wider crowdsourcing. So we use the outside world which eat in our cafeteria to design our products. A very nice example to look into the own processes and make them innovative in a very small step. Then, very critical, business expects us to provide diversity in their partnerships. So seek for the unusual suspects. You know, it's not always the same providers which provide you the solutions. Look for different entities, small startup companies, university, your traditional supplier. It's a mix of diversity which makes it important. You know, do you know the music album Pavarotti and Friends, or McCoy Tyner and the Latin All-Stars? You know, these are musicians which invite other musicians from another genre to create new music, to create a new experience, new customer value. Think the same way in sourcing. Enrich what you have with new possibilities and new partners. And finally, focus on growth and focus on business resilience. 10% of revenues today are being reinvested into what we call digital initiatives and digital solutions. For companies to find the next option for growth, and for companies to retain their existing clients. So we in sourcing, we need to help these companies running proof of concepts across the entire partner ecosystem. We need to help them understanding when a project is going to fail, or when a project is on the cusp to fail, so that they can quickly course correction. If you create a new style of music and you get a shitstorm on Facebook, it's probably a good idea to stop and try something out, try something new. Most important message for today from me is, digital business is here to stay. it's pretty advanced. And organizations need strong conductors to bring together all these different streams and activities in an organization. Sourcing is ideally positioned to be this conductor. Very important, but not like Sourcing X today. So you need to transform from a tactical discipline into a strategic value function. And for that, I wish you a great journey. Bedankt. 40% of my Dutch.